Welcome back to Active Life QiGong. Thank you for joining us. Let's improve our health today. Stand with your feet shoulder width, our basic posture. Unlock your knees, drop your tail. Drop your shoulders, open your elbows, wrists, and fingers. Tuck your chin. We're going to begin by spreading our hands wide, so keeping the thumb far from the pinky, putting some space across the palm. We'll stand here and we'll first take a breath in and out. We're slowing down the normal breathing. And today is in fact the day for the lung. In and out. Bring the hands to the waist. In and out. In and out. Continue breathing this way while we talk about what we're doing today. Our last video was on all of the organs and how to help their health, to increase their function, and we're going to drill down into each organ. Today is the lung. What better place to start? For two reasons. One, breathing is fundamental to every function. In fact, our practice, QiGong, can be translated as breathing practice, because every motion we're doing is synced, or at least harmonious, with even fluid breathing. As a clinician, I'd say probably the most universal pathology is in the breathing function. And so when you're trying to help someone with body pain or any sort of internal medicine problem, it's often useful to start with breathing because it's not working right. And if it's not, the body can't heal. With our hands here, focus on where you feel the breath expanding the torso. Slowing the breath down is a great way to start to cue the diaphragm to work, this large muscle in the center of the abdomen. And what we're aiming for is to fill the entire waist, as we talk about waist or belt breathing. Filling it like a balloon, exhaling, shrinking that area, even in the back. Now, usually our breath is constrained somewhere in our body, maybe trapped up here in our chest or tightened in our throat. Maybe our back's so tight we can't feel our back moving at all. This practice is going to help us regain that normal breathing function. So let's start with where the organ is in the body. The lungs go from here, higher than people think, all the way down to the bottom of the ribs. All those tight muscles and tendons and ligaments that most of us have, they sort of constrain or imprison the breathing function. So we're going to start with our percussion technique, where we're going to lightly percuss the body with these cupped hands. And as we do it, we're moving the shoulder blades to power the arms. We're not just moving the elbows or the shoulders, but moving the whole shoulder blade. We're going to focus on the lungs today. So patting up the midline, out to the top of the chest. Still breathing. In and out. Even without our hands on our waist, we're still trying to fill that area, keeping part of our attention, part of our awareness on the filling and emptying of the breath. And it's okay, it's appropriate for the chest and sides to get filled with air too, but we don't want to freeze the diaphragm and keep all the air high up in the lungs. The lower parts of the lungs are actually better for exchanging the CO2 and oxygen that we need. So we're percussing on the chest, and let's pick the right side of the chest. And we're going to focus now a bit on all the tissues around the shoulder. The tight shoulders everyone has. Not only are they not comfortable, often very painful, crimping down on our neck and causing cervical problems, but also they constrain the breathing. So we're going to walk that percussing palm all around the shoulders, the back of the shoulder, the side, anywhere you can reach. And it's okay if you have to stretch your arm a bit to get there. That's good for the shoulder and the lungs too. And then we'll go to the other side. Breathing in and out. Don't forget these top of the shoulders, the tense traps everyone has. That's right on the apex of the lung. Other side, in case you didn't get it. Good. Keeping that same hand on the right side, we're going to gently tap the side of the neck and the collarbone. We want to be gentle here. There's a lot of vital structures, but just the fingertips, or the fingers rather, the belly of the fingers, are patting all along the front neck muscles, the collarbone. We hear a lot about vagus nerve stimulation. When we do this, we're breaking up tension in all this front area of the neck that inhibits good nerve function down to the heart, the diaphragm, the digestive organs. Other side, left side. Percussing all along the side of the neck, even the back of the head, base of the head, very gently. It should feel nice. Good. Now we're going to walk out to the sides of the ribs. And then walk the hands to the low back. The heel of your palm might just touch your ribs. Gently here, we don't want to abuse the kidneys, but do a few slow breaths here. Try to feel the expanding of that lower lobe. And you may feel it, you may not. That's okay. Good. Bring the feet together. We're going to use the turning of our waist and the buoyancy of our knees to swing the arm up and over to percuss right under the neck. This is actually where the nerve roots leave for the lung, all these vital structures that help the lung work. And we're going to have this kind of lazy rhythm percussing right under the neck and the upper back, right where everyone's always tight. So we're starting by just loosening up all these tight tissues. And let's go ahead and use the other arm. We've done this action many times before, and it takes a while to learn, like all of them. But I want you to think again about throwing the elbow up, thinking of the elbow going up and not overarching the low back to get the arm there. So keep the ribs pulled down a bit and the head back. Don't duck your head forward to get there. And then we'll alternate side to side. I think our youngest student on the online channel is about 1.5 years. He copies his parents doing these exercises, and even he's learning how to do this motion. So listen to all the instruction, but as important, just watch and follow along. It doesn't matter if you get it all right. Good. Now we're going to do one preliminary stretch before we begin the lung exercise. Widen the feet back to shoulder width. We're going to bring the outstretched hands to the low back. When we do this, it naturally pushes our shoulders forward because of tightness in the shoulder. So we're going to pull those shoulder heads back, and you should feel a stretch across the chest. When you do that, you might be tempted to arch the low back, but actually push the low back into the hands. So we're pushing the low back while we bring the shoulder heads back and the chin back. Practice taking a breath here. You'll probably feel stretching along the front of the ribs, the chest. And you can use a good amount of effort here, pulling those shoulders back. It might be uncomfortable on the forearms or the shoulders. Find those muscles here in the back of the shoulders to pull those shoulder heads back while you're pushing your low back backwards. Keep the chin tucking slightly, pushing the top of the head upwards. One more breath in and out. We'll push the hands down. Good. Same stance here. We're going to take our left hand, reach it straight up, as high as it'll go, the thumb leading the way. When it won't go any further, we turn the shoulder just enough to bring that arm behind us and point the thumb downwards. So the thumb leads the way all the way up, inhaling, turning the shoulder and down. You want to keep that reaching feeling through the fingertips all the way up, especially here, reaching back, exhaling, lowering the arm. When we lower the arm, we're not just letting the arm go, we're actually reaching back and downwards, compressing that side of the chest. Inhaling up and exhaling down. In and out. And then let's reverse that. The pinky leads the way up, as far back and up as you can go before you turn the shoulder to bring it through. In and out. Let's work on this use of the whole side of the body. So when we inhale and reach up, press this same side foot, the left foot, down to extend your whole side up. Exhaling down, compress that side of the chest. Inhale and exhale. We often see people warming up for sports and circling their arms around, which is a great practice to warm up the muscles, but we can get so much more out of it when we think about it as a full body exercise. Other side. Inhaling up, the thumb leads the way. Turning the shoulder to exhale it down. Now you'll probably feel at this top motion some restriction in your shoulder. Don't shy away from it. Keep that effort engaged. You want to sort of hug the corner, hug the turn, like if you're in a car and you're hugging the curve while you're going pretty fast versus a real loose kind of skipping over. So inhaling up, exhaling, getting all the juice out of that rotation. In and out. In. Here, pressing the right foot, extending the whole body, side body, and out. Good. Other way. In. Starting to think about now the slow, fluid quality of the motion. This is where a lot of the strengthening of the body comes in. It's not the same as a typical athletic approach. When we slow down the motion and focus the mind with the breathing, it has an additive effect to improve our internal health. You can't find part of the body that's not benefited by this practice. The hormones, the nervous system, the digestive organs, you pick a system. A lot of it comes from this quality of slow, fluid movement, so opposite from our frenetic, normal pace. Good. Reestablish your neutral stance. As we do this motion, we're going to be raising the arms, but keep the shoulders low. Our tendency when we lift the hands and arms is to let the shoulders do the work. So I'm going to be talking about keeping the shoulder blades tucked down the back, like you're putting the shoulder blades in the back pockets. We're going to lift the arms, open the hands, exhaling, closing the hands and the arms. Inhaling. The shoulder blades draw together, the chest opens. Exhale. In. The palms turn upwards, but they don't reach totally up until we get to the end. And out. Same here, the palms turn down by the time we reach the end. Inhaling. I'm actually not going to go as far as I can here, all the way open backwards. I'm going to keep my hands just in my periphery right here. And down. In. That's a feeling very much like swimming. Out. In. When we do this, we're actually reaching out through the hands, we're pulling on all the tissues around the lungs. We're giving them more room. If we think of the lung is a very delicate organ, often called a gossamer film or like a tent. We're expanding that tent, that sort of billows in the chest. We're giving it more room to work. We can even picture while we're doing this, the lungs, which really begin in the upper respiratory tract, in the nose and sinuses. Imagine this whole connected area down through the lungs, filling and expanding. You can even picture a sort of healing white light in the area. It has benefit to do that. Inhaling open. A sort of cleansing white light filling the whole rib cage. We breathe out, emptying out anything dirty or unneeded out of the lungs, out of the sinuses even. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now after a minute, you're probably noticing the shoulders are complaining, so bend your knees, sink your tail, drop the shoulder blades. Put the weight of the arms down in the back. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Rest the arms down, take a break. We're going to do that exercise one more time. We're going to add an unvoiced sound into the mix that helps the lungs, it resonates, it shakes some of the tissues in the lungs, strengthening those tissues. And it's the sound of, if it were written like an SSS sound, like air leaving a tire, it's easy to remember that way. So inhaling open, back into our normal position. Exhaling. Inhaling. Good way to slow the exhale down too. Inhale. In. Rest down. Picture this motion as coming from really the center of the spine here, the upper thoracic spine, like a hinge. It's all coming from there. So when you have the arms in front and you initiate the motion, don't think of throwing your hands back as much as opening that part of the back, the part we were just slapping, we were percussing. Inhaling, that part of the back opens or engages and hinges there as the chest opens. And when we exhale, we push from that area. Right back here, we push forward. Inhaling. In. In. the fingers reaching. Don't have limp fingers or really tense fingers. Keep them reaching outward. In, especially the thumb. Two more. Keep the shoulder blades dropping. And lower the hands. Do this exercise if you're ever feeling depressed or like you can't take a full breath in. Practice some of these motions, some of these exercises. When you strengthen the lung, not only does your whole respiratory tract get stronger, but you'll become more energetic. It can actually help fatigue, but also that sort of depressed or stagnant feeling that comes from being too sedentary, long work day, lazy weekend kind of thing. Thank you for joining us. That's the first of our 5 organs. Come back again for the next video and we'll move on to the next organ. See you soon.